Hi everyone, and welcome to another tech discussion by Royex Technologies. With over 10 years of experience in website, mobile application and e-commerce development, we are now discussing the formula to create a successful mobile application. Now, in our last two episodes, we've discussed first two stages of the entire process, which is the pre-development as well as the development stages. We are now discussing the post-development stage. So my name is Pillay, and with me is Rajib Roy.
Hello everyone, I'm Rajib Roy. I'm running this company for last 10 years. And whatever the discussion we are actually doing is based on this book, $1 Million Apps. The book is available in Amazon. You can buy it if you are planning to develop a new application or you are running an application. So this book is really helpful for you.
Okay, fantastic. Rajib, in the first two episodes, we've covered the pre-development where we went from ideation through to understanding what is the actual documentation of project summary definition that's actually required. We then went on to the actual development where it was about selecting the right development team right up until publishing and testing. So now we're actually going to cover post-development where you now got the application and it's now time to make things happen. So first and foremost, it's about business operations setup.
Sure.
So what can you tell us just a little bit about in terms of the business operations setup and what to keep in mind?
Look, at the pre-development stage, what we actually explained before. So how to run the operation, they already make a documentation for that. So what is the operation, how it will be. This time is the job actually to do it, actually really practically implement that operation. If they need to set the office, you need to hire the people, hire the team actually, and start doing the marketing campaign. All those things they have to do at this stage. So there is nothing new on here. Whatever they have decided before, they have to implement the same thing. It is not that, suppose, we have decided something before and now we are planning something different. It is not a wise thing.
Exactly. But as you're saying, you've done that plan. Now looking also at another element of the stage, which is running the test, right? You can run a test operation based on the understanding of what you are supposed to do in order to look at what are the outcomes and how you need to refine the business operation, right?
Exactly. So this is the time actually they have to monitor all different elements, different analytics, So how many people actually are going to use the app, in which page, how long they are staying, and from which page they are actually dropping out. It can be, and how many people are dropping out and how many new people are using it and why they are using it. Every information they need to check. And what is the speed of the application? Is it performing good? What is the speak rate actually? Everything need to be monitored, and they have to spend actually huge amount of time on it with the technical people and the owner. Everyone need to take a decision based on all this analytics.
Absolutely. Now, once you've done some, running that test operation and so forth, you now need to implement the marketing plans that you have created. So it's about trying to schedule what you have created. When is the optimal times and what is the different channels, right?
Is again the 9-point marketing plan what we have discussed before. So they need to follow that. Maybe there is a slight change can come up because whenever they are doing the development, at that time the time is actually passed. Some new idea maybe come out. So what they have to do, they have to fill up the 9-point again. Keeping the mind actually what they fill up before, and then they have to start implementing it. And for this thing, they have to start using the digital calendar. So the digital marketing calendar. So that 9-point, how they're going to implement and when they're going to implement, how they're going to implement, everything should be in the calendar.
Exactly. Now, we mentioned this a little bit earlier where we want to do the test to see the kind of results, but now we're entering into the space of the data insights and the metrics that needs to be set, because it's important to understand where and how you need to improve. So what are some of the key metrics that we should consider? Things like, abandonment rate and session times. What are some other key metrics?
Look, one is user acquisition metrics is there, daily active user, device metrics is there, so which kind of device are people actually using, user location, which location people are using the application actually most, that information, screen flow, so how they actually navigate the application, which kind of button is actually more important than the other button, so that's also need to understand. some engagement metrics there is available. Suppose the session duration. So suppose whenever a user comes, how long they are actually on the session. So that need to be understand. Session interval. So each session, suppose I'm using it now, and then when I'm coming back again. So what is my interval time? So that's also important actually thing. So user retention. So once I'm using the application, after how many times again I'm coming back. Yeah. So that retention is there. And also the revenue wise, so there is some kind of thing is there. What is actually the acquisition cost of you? So whenever a new customer actually comes on your application, yeah, how much you have to spend on the marketing to bring that customer on your site? That need to be find out. What is the abandon rate? So they came here and they actually add some item on your cart and they're not buying it, they're leaving it. And what is the percentage of that and why it is happening? You need to understand this kind of thing. Lifetime value. So whenever you are running, you can't get it immediately. Whenever you are running the application for a certain time, so you can find it out actually when a customer comes. Suppose they are staying for the 1 month. In 1 month, how much actually they spend with you? So their lifetime is 1 month. So 1 month, how much I spend? Suppose if I stay on your application for a 1 year, what is my expenditure? Yeah, how much I spend on your application? So that is very important. Sometimes what happened, we found that okay, the acquisition cost is really high. But the basket rate is small. So how come actually the company making the profit?
Exactly.
So it depends actually the how long he is actually on the application, how much he is actually spent on the application.
Yeah. And sorry, some of those that you mentioned, it can be considered as a front end metric, whilst there's also some back end metrics as well, right? So monitoring the performance and speed of the application, and there are tools for this as well, right?
Yeah. There's lots of tools is available. I don't want to mention the name because the tools is always changing. Yeah. There is some basic tools is there. They always need to use it. And every company are using a different tools.
Absolutely. Okay. So once now we've got the metrics in place, now you understand the performance or the outcomes of it. It's now time to look at, do you have any modifications that needs to be done?
Yes.
Because you would need to modify it in order to ensure you are achieving the optimal results, right?
Yes. So that's actually at the beginning I'm saying that, okay, and that's the reason actually why I am against the freelancer to involve on the application development, because their job is actually to develop the application, give it to you and then leave. Yeah. But this is actually the critical time is coming up. So now whenever your apps is in the market, you can see there's a lots of new changes is required. If you do some minor changes, you can see actually big impact is coming up. So you need actually constant support from any team or any company.
Yeah.
So that is very important. And whenever you are doing these changes, you have to monitor it actually that what is the impact actually coming up, and again do some more changes to check that okay, what is the new other impact is there. You have to always actually monitor it.
Absolutely. Now monitoring also extends towards the client feedback as well. So this brings about the other element, which is client satisfaction. And it's equally important on both sides to understand negative and positive. So utilizing specifically the positive reviews is very important. But now this can be achieved through different ways, right? So you can do surveys and interviews to understand that feedback. But furthermore, you need to be able to action some of the feedback as well.
Yes, and another important factor. So the customer satisfaction, when the customer is satisfied, they don't give any positive review normally. But when they are not satisfied, they are giving a negative review.
Sure.
So you always need to be actually work for the good. Yeah, you always need to be make sure that okay, the customer is, you are doing something unexpected level. So they are expecting suppose the delivery in 4 days. You are giving a delivery in 2 days. That okay, is unexpected level. They are happy. Then they will give a review. So you have to make your mechanism in some way.
Absolutely. Now, coming into, once you've got this application, it's out there, people are using it, it's now time to optimize. I think a lot of people are familiar with the term SEO, search engine optimization, but there's also a term ASO, which is application app store optimization. So there's a multitude of different things that can be done. Give us some insight on some of the things that can be done to optimize.
Okay, anyway, the basic philosophy is the same. Yeah, how the Google actually are doing for the website. The first of thing they see okay, how many backlink is coming on this website, right? They're exactly the same thing they are following also for the application. How many download of the application? Yeah, and how many review you have? How what is the rating of the review? So if you are getting a too much bad rating of the review, your application will go down. Yeah, so always try to get actually more good review. And means always actually the number is always factor, yeah. And also suppose if other company, other website actually give a positive review, they write a review text actually on their site and link back to your application, that also add a positive view. And there is a description is there is a title is there, all need to be monitored. And App Store, for App Store, there is a different kind of keyword you have to search, which keyword actually relatively easy to come up. So you just need to monitor everything and need to put everything in a proper way so that it is actually appearing to the Google.
Absolutely. So this is really a multitude. As you say, the philosophy is the same. So I think some of our viewers can unpack also the SEO kind of sessions that we had. Let's quickly talk about two other elements here. Now, when we've got the app developed, it's time at a stage to look at future development. Now, what are some areas where we would need to consider future development? One of the things that comes to mind for me is maybe the performance. Maybe there's more users and they have different preferences. So these are some of the key elements that we need to keep in mind. What are some?
Always there is a future. Feature is important, right? So whenever you run the application in the market, then you feel that okay, some feature is not the perfect, or some kind of modification is important to actually make the user happy. But there is more important part actually. We launch actually few application that is actually people need to pay one-time fee and they can use it. Yeah. But whenever we launch, we feel that okay, people are not buying. So what we did actually, we actually changed the whole payment process. Instead of paying in one shot, they're paying in a monthly and a very small amount. So for people, it's feeling that okay, they're actually paying a very nominal fee, no brainer to actually use this thing, and they start using it. And we saw like a huge amount of people actually using the application. And in the long run, in a 1 year period, we actually accumulated more money than actually if they purchase in one time. So this kind of new strategy you have to actually follow to make an application successful. And that's the future development. Every time new development you have to do. And moreover, new technology is coming. There is lots of AI tools is there. You can use it to make your dashboard more helpful. So that need to be implemented. So how can you implement if you don't have the developer?
Exactly. So future development is inevitable, right? But there's different reasons, and we discussed some of them. But ultimately, it could be also the customer preferences on how they want to interact with your particular products and solutions. It could be, again, a multitude of different reasons, but it's important to stay close and understand what it is that's happening. Coming right back to our start, which we spoke about break-even analysis as well. At a certain point, you need to look at when are you getting that profit. So if that is looking further and further away, you need to be making changes from an operational standpoint, which can affect the application as well. Okay, fantastic. I think we've covered all of the key elements, but now that we've got an application out there and we've all heard of $1 million application, so how do we best evaluate an application?
Yes, so there's a different ways there, and there is no hard and fast rule that okay, you have to follow this way to actually evaluating your application. What happens, suppose if it is a social application, you have to find actually how many people are using it. If you are using an e-commerce, in that case you have to verify how much you are selling. And different application is a different method you have to use. There's a different method is there. So one is the SDE. You can see the way of calculating is the revenue minus cost of goods sold minus operating expense plus owner compensation. Then if data is there, so there is a revenue minus expenses plus depreciation plus amortization is there. One is the app valuation, that is specifically for the social media, while the number is a very important factor. So number of user into multiplied user lifetime value minus customer acquisition cost. So this is actually the few popular the way of valuing your application. So just if you have an application and if it is running for a long time, just use any of the method and check that okay, how much, what is the value is coming up. So that is the way, that is actually your current value. And whenever you are asking for the investor, don't ask the same value. Ask always actually more than this, so that whenever it is going down, it comes exactly almost like the same.
Sure. That's a very, very good suggestion. I think this has been very, very insightful. We reached the end of the third stage. We've covered the pre-development, development, and post-development. Rajiv, this has been truly insightful, right?
It's really good, and 3 video is a long video actually. And if they actually watch all these videos, they will get a knowledge actually of how to develop a application and all the inner different issues and how can actually evaluating the application, all those information they will get it. So if you have any question actually regarding the mobile application development, how to develop, or any technical suggestion if you need from our side, just comment us and we'll try to answer you, or maybe in some future video we'll add it and we'll make a new episode for you.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.